Now in Scotland's capital the words are read, as by ancient usage and custom of this realm, Elizabeth Regina, whereas we have resolved by the favour and blessing of Almighty God to celebrate the solemnity of our royal coronation at Westminster upon Tuesday, the 2nd day of June in the year of grace 1953, the words echo out of the history of the land. A new day moves in strength over the ancestral pattern of ceremony. In the great cities and the towns of the country, the trumpets are sounded. The herald comes to Temple Bar at the bounds of the city, asking leave to enter, and speaking and answering, the silver trumpets blow.
Welcome back to another video, and I thought it might be nice to just quickly do a little bit of an update and show you I've still been doing some work on this Pye 1951. It's a Pye FV1 model, I should say, dating from 1951, and I have still been doing little bits and pieces of work on it. I did put a couple of more newer valves in there that I found that I'd got, and it's still not 100% by any means. There's still, you know, I think there's still quite a few faults. It's the volume control on it needs a new pot resistor on there because it's really shot. It's had it. But I'm really pleased of how it's turned out. You know, at one stage I never even thought I was going to get a picture on this. What we're watching, by the way, is a little bit of footage. It is I'm running a DVD through it, obviously, which it's and this is obviously the 1953 Queen Elizabeth coronation, which is very apt, I thought, because this television would have been on in 1953 to watch this very coronation, I'm sure, because just about every television that was capable of receiving anything was switched on, and crowds of people flocked round them. If you've got a television in 1953, you know, you probably had a house full of people to watch this. So I'm delighted. I started this is my lockdown television. I hadn't repaired a television. Oh, there we see. Look at that. It's not behaving itself, but that just shows you this is live. Let's get my hand on the control. Yeah, I started this in the lockdown of last year. Something to do. I hadn't restored a television for maybe 10-12 years. Obviously, and a lot of you don't know me or know my circumstances, but sadly the last number of years I had to drop everything and look after my mother, who was had dementia, very sadly. And for anybody that's looked after an older person with dementia, you'll know exactly what I mean. It's a 24-hour care job. Luckily my mother was able to stay at home, in her home, and I basically became her full-time carer, and there was no time to do anything like this. So sadly my mother passed away the early part of last year, and then the lockdown hit us, and I thought, well, I must do something. And obviously, to keep your brain in gear, I think, you know, if, it was quite challenging. This set had sat in a roof space for well over 40 years, so it wasn't in good condition, and the tube looked okay. And there is a video of me earlier on in this little series of this television, me checking the tube, and it looked as though it was going to be a reasonable, you know, prospect to restore, and so I went on and did it, and had a lot of issues with it. And but there we go. I just thought you might like to see a few moving pictures. It's not finished by any ways, but this is the last time we shall be looking at this set, because I'm delighted. You know, I found this quite a challenge, and when you've not got your head round vintage televisions for a number of years, it took me a long while to get back into the sort of swing of it and sort it out and sort the many faults out that were on this set. But I'm pleased, and as I say, it's great. It's always great to see a picture come back on a set like this. You know, it's amazing, isn't it, that this television is, what, 71 years old, and still capable of giving us this picture. So not perfect, I realise that by any means, but I have stopped a lot of the it was a very jittery, shaky picture before, and I've managed to sort of get that sorted out. And there is still one or two issues I know with it, and the tube really needs to come out and be cleaned because it's very dirty, and that is making some reflection. It needs a good clean behind the glass here, this safety glass, or safety plastic, I think in this it sounds a bit. So that all, and the front of the tube is filthy and it hasn't come out yet. That's for another day, and but there we go. So I'm delighted how this has turned out. Even the cabinet has cleaned up quite reasonable. I shall glue some of there's some loose veneer on it, which I shall carefully glue and clamp back on. And I have the original back for this set as well. It is a local set to me. It was purchased in Northampton, so that's even more interesting to me. And I've had it running, you know, for an hour, 2 hours, and it's, once the more it runs, the more stable it does get. Obviously I've just switched it on today to take this little bit of video. So there we go. You know, please have a look back at the other you know, videos in this series if you haven't seen those. I'll try and group them together. Really feel as though you've achieved something when, you know, you get a picture on it in the end. So there we go. So that's the Pye 1951 FV1. I like Pye stuff. It wasn't the best. It certainly wasn't the worst. It was, I think it was well thought out and quite well designed and well engineered. Quite easy to work on. Although this set had in the RF stage hundreds of these sort of little kind of bullet, there again, will you see that bullet capacity? Perhaps we won't focus on that. These little colour-coded bullet capacitors, which were a nightmare. I think in the end I did it gradually, one by one, and everyone had to be changed. So you know, quite a task, but enjoyable. And as I say, you know, you do these things as a fun hobby. It's not, you know, there's no pressure. As I say, I don't ever set myself a time scale or timeline. It and if it doesn't happen, if it doesn't work, well, I've lost nothing, because I was given this set free anyway. So there we go. I mustn't ramble on. I'm good at that, as you all know. So there we go.
Welcome of bells, the Queen arrives at Westminster.
Anyway, as always, thank you so much for watching. Please do subscribe. It does certainly help us smaller channels, and we really do appreciate it. And love getting your comments about everything and anything. And please do come back, and thanks again, and see you very soon. Bye for now.